Hello. What I thought I'd do for the creative meeting during the meeting was wander around with my laptop, showing you through the laptop camera what I'd be doing here, so that you'd have an idea how that might fit in with the APT exhibition and how it would fit in with your exhibits. I then thought if I do that, I won't be able to quite see what you're seeing through the laptop camera. I might fall downstairs and it all might be a bit of a farce. So I thought what I'd do instead is make a quick and dirty video and show you then what might be possible for the exhibition. And I think this is maybe a much neater way of doing it. So here we are, this is our backyard. Now I'm actually powering all this with solar power, which we probably won't do in the exhibition, but I thought I'd show you. There's a mix of, we've got 15 solar panels and some beautiful stained glass panels that I've made. It'll all be glazed over with stained glass eventually. So that's what powers everything. It's all based on this. This is an ESP8266, which is a microprocessor. They cost about £2.50 at the moment, ignoring recent exchange rates. Coming from China, they're made in China. Everything you see in this is made in China pretty well. And they're very easy to use. They've got lots of pins on, so I can attach lots of things to them, lots of sensors and lights and all sorts of things. Here's a proximity sensor, very similar to the one if you've got garden lights or anything that detect that you're walking down the path. Security lights, there's a few adjustments on them to set how sensitive they are and how far away they detect things. And I've got those littered around the house, which you'll see in a few minutes. This is a straightforward light detector, so it detects whether the sun's out or not, deciding whether to turn lights on or not if it detects someone. And so we can use the two detectors together. This is a sonic detector, which I haven't played with yet, but can detect the distance of objects as well as what's there. So it's a bit more controllable than the proximity sensor. And these are neopixels. They're little LEDs. There's 3 LEDs in each unit, a red, green and blue. So you can have, each colour has 256 different values, so you can have literally tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of different colours. And they come in a big sheet and you can just snap them off and solder them up with the connectors on the back, and they sort of daisy chain off. They're a few pence each. Everything in this is cheap. All from China. And here's a NeoPixel which you can sew into your clothing, so you can have a wearable, and it can have thousands of colours. They come in little rings like this one, or a slightly bigger ring like this one, or an even bigger ring, or a huge ring like this one. And we can do all sorts of patterns with them as well. Now this is one in our hall, which just slowly changes colour. Because you can address each LED individually, you can have all sorts of lighting patterns. They can spiral around, they can change colour very quickly or very slowly. You can have stroboscopic effects if you want, and they can go from all sorts of extreme colours like vivid blues to vivid reds and so on. And I think you can see it's just slowly changing there. So without really realising it, the room's suddenly gone from blue to red. And there we are. That's getting to quite a deep red now. Now we use these in the house instead of ordinary lighting, and we're saving a vast amount of money, which is fantastic. Our last electricity bill was £40.18, gas and electric combined, and £26 of that was standing charge, which meant we used £14 worth of gas and electricity in a month. Here's a proximity detector, picked us up that we're here, and so I put some LEDs in there, NeoPixels in there, in a light that I made. Here's the staircase, our stairs, which has just detected me, and each one goes up, lighting up a step at a time. If you come down from the top of the stairs, it starts lighting at the top because there's 2 detectors there. And here we are going into the bathroom, and and there we are, it's found us there. So we see a beautiful lamp, which I didn't make, illuminated, and the same, it's going through slight, very slow changes in colour. Now here, on the kitchen shelf here, is a brass frog, and if I touch it, it triggers the lights. Now there's no circuit, there's no moving parts. What's happening is there's one lead connected to an ESP8266, and it's charging the frog up to 3.3 volts and discharging it and charging it and discharging it, and it detects how long that takes. And if you hold it, if you touch it, it takes a bit longer, so it puts the lights on or turns them off. And there's the ESP8266 controlling it. The rest of it is just fuses and power supplies for various parts of the house, and Kandinsky popped in the other day and painted that. Here's the garden, and I can control all this from my phone. Now that page is actually sitting on an ESP8266 in our holly tree. I'm having trouble here holding the camera and pressing the buttons on my phone at the same time, but you should see they're changing colour more dramatically. There's deep purple. Now it's just a web page. There's one web page sitting on a server somewhere in America, and I'm just going to it here, because we can use a phone, or this is my PC. That page is the main menu there is sitting on a server in America somewhere. Each of these pages is sitting somewhere in the house on an ESP8266, which we could do in the gallery. We could have a nice little network. The systems also talk to each other, so the whole system actually talks to the garden, so that as you come down the garden path, the garden lights come on, but also the hall lights come on. And similarly, if you're leaving the house, it detects you in the hall, and it will also put the lights on. Here's a servo, which are like a little electric motor, but they're much more controllable, and you can reset them so you know what position they're starting off in. And now here's my little test board, where I've taken two servos and linked them together, so we've got two axes of movement here. They won't do a full 360 degrees, but they'll go a long way. And here it is connected to the 8266 in the bottom corner there, and it moves. Now here I've just set it up to do a pre-set number of movements, just to show. This was just for me to test it really, and you can see this sort of thing. Now we could build this into, say, Fion's Galleons, or any other exhibit in the gallery, so things can move. We could put lights in, we could control sound just the same, really anything electrical, electronic, we can control from the 8266s. And you can see here there are little stepper motors inside, so that we can move them very slowly or very quickly. And they're small and cheap. Now here's a bigger version. There's the 8266. There's a big servo at the bottom, or bigger, a second one there. So it's the same setup as the smaller one, but there's also a ring of LEDs there, NeoPixels, and a camera. And then I reach up to the wall, switch it on, the thing boots up, and hey, voila. And we turn the lights on, and we can change the colour of the lights. Again, this is doing a preset number of movements. We could control this. Visitors to the gallery could control this by touching things, and they don't even need to be switches. It could be, say we had a cabinet, when they touch some metal on the cabinet, things would happen. Or they touch a piece of metal on the wall, or they stand on something on the floor. So hopefully that gives you an idea of the sort of things that are possible, that I'm dead keen to try in a public environment where we can see how people interact with them. I think this will be intriguing for the public. It's like the buttons at the Science Museum, that being able to interact with the exhibits engages people much more than looking at static things. Good. Well, I hope we have a good meeting on Sunday, and I hope you all have time to view this. Thank you.